Welcome to this week's audio and video podcast with Eagle Athletic Director Bill Chaves. It's brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union, serving their members' financial needs since 1951. Good football win on Saturday to start with, and easy travel, even with the charter, no delays, no problems, easy down and back.
Yeah, you never know, right, Larry? Anytime you've got air travel, whether it's charters or not, because the one thing we know about even doing the charter piece is that they're coming from somewhere. So, we're almost just a piece of their puzzle, and so I think we got off to a little bit of a slow delay, about a half hour or so on the front end because there was some fog in Seattle, but I thought it went great. Easy in, easy out. Had to stay at a different place because there was a Shakespeare festival in town in Cedar City, so we normally stay in Cedar City, but we actually stayed up, and this is kind of unique and interesting. I talked to Coach Lamb before the game, and he had indicated, he had wanted to know how was it, where we stayed, and they're at about 5,600 feet. Is that about right? Mm-hmm. Well, we stayed at 10,000 plus, and he said, you know what? There's some value to that because you go up there and you spend a good, let's just say 18 hours, and then you're coming down as opposed to, again, going up, and that can actually help you during the game.
And from what I understand from hotel staff, a lot of teams are starting to stay at this place. It's called the Grand Hotel in Bryan Head, Utah. And prior to snow flying, it's probably not a bad place to be. You're kind of outside the territory, and it's a very nice place.
It was. Actually we were there in a sense. They have a couple, I would say, 6-week off seasons, if you will, after the leaves change, and they really have changed already up there. And prior to ski season, where the snow falls, we got obviously a very, very, very good rate, and but it was really scenic. Unique, and all of that, but at the end of the day, that's what Coach Lamb had said. A number of teams do stay up there, and I think NAU is one of them that does that as well, and they certainly know about altitude. But in anything, it could be a psychological thing. I mean, you feel better coming back down, and you can honestly get more oxygen in you throughout the game, and I think maybe that has helped. But just a strange deal. I mean, I don't think I've been around a team that was probably had more guys out or at least injured, but still found a way to grind through, and it was very impressive.
All right, 2 home football games in August, then 1 in early October, and now 3 out of 4 at home. And tickets have been sold. There are some holds that may be released. It's ticket release Tuesday, but basically these 3 games are are sold out, correctly?
They are. I mean, any tickets that we had available to sell, we've sold. So now, then the question, I think there's a couple of questions out there. Well, bring in more seating, and we've already committed to some things around the stadium, whether it be the Miller Lite touchdown tent, and so there's really not a way for us to kind of do that. I mean, if you really kind of come in here and from a game management standpoint look at it through that lens, we're kind of infrastructurally at a point where it's hard to add really any seating without having to really think through what this is going to mean, because there's always more dominoes than just the seating itself. So that being said, Larry, you're right. But you're right. We have a few holds out there, not a lot, quite frankly. And this is just great. I mean, it gives us an opportunity now to kind of figure out what we're doing even throughout the course of games as far as groups and those types of things because of the demand. And, the best thing that I can say is get your season tickets. We've been touting that for a few years, but season tickets are the way to go. And if we're ever fortunate enough to keep kind of going down the path that we're going down right now, who knows? We might have a playoff game or two here in Cheney. And again, if you've got season tickets, it gives you the opportunity to have the first right at your seat.
And so every Tuesday prior to a home game, go to goeags.com. /tickets and see, or you can call the Eagle ticket office and just see whether there are any holds that have been released for the week. But if there haven't been by the Tuesday prior to the game, there probably isn't going to be.
Yeah, I mean, as an example, people will be saying, like, what are we talking about? Why do you have holds? Well, sometimes the visitors will kick back some tickets that we have on hold. Normally not for Big Sky games because we really don't have a whole lot of tickets that each team gets per game. And then, it could be a Hall of Fame weekend. It could be a a homecoming weekend. It could be some things that we've said to groups. You have until a certain date to purchase tickets, and if then there's tickets left over, obviously we'll release them. Now, what we need to do now moving forward is probably back up those dates or make them even earlier as far as when we're asking groups to commit to. But right now we're kind of in real time working through all this.
All right, let's move to other sports. Volleyball, 2 big home matches this week, and they're home 2 straight weeks as well.
Yeah, I think, talking to the coaches going into this past weekend, they were at minimum hoping for a split, knowing that we had 2, some home matches coming up. So that's what occurred this past weekend, and so now we've got to make a little hay at Reese Court, and that it's incredibly important.
And soccer, tough 1-0 loss to Idaho yesterday, but they continue they're right in the mix and in the thick of things for the playoffs.
Yeah, the one thing we can say about that particular sport, you can probably win on the road and win at home. I mean, it's just such a big value scoring the first goal, and then, you can kind of do some things probably defensively, and Idaho was the team that, got off the mark early in the second half and ended up going on to win 1-0. So, but no, in the mix with both. But now's the time, right? We're in the middle of October, and all these games are going to be incredibly important.
It's not too long now before basketball starts. Men's and women's basketball about a month from now, roughly 31, 32 days for both teams. And so it's never too early to start thinking about season tickets for them, or at least try to plan out the schedule and figure out, okay, I want to go to this, and this game.
Yeah, and again, I will say that, always the best deal here for sure is season tickets. And, we'd always encourage you to support the program that way. That helps us get some tickets, I guess, out. And then when they're in your hands, and maybe if you can't use them, boy, either give them away to have some other folks maybe taste test the product, if you will, or maybe kick them back to us, and we'll try to find a youth group. We'll try to do something to try to make those tickets get into the hands of somebody that'll use them if you can't go. And it's a tough commitment. I mean, it's a tough commitment to make a 14 or 15 game schedule and add them both together, and you're at 30 games. So it's tough, and we get that, but maybe there's other ways to think it through. But both teams have started practicing, so they're on the floor. And I'm getting old, Larry. In the NCAA, it feels like it always used to be October 15th. That's when you started practice, and I can't get off of that at this point. It doesn't happen anymore. Plus, they're around during the summer at some points in time too. So it's just, what phase of the year are they practicing? That's really what it's ended up turning into. What are the hours that you can practice with your team? It increases obviously in the regular portion of your season versus the say the summer months or in the spring.
And you are, the athletic department is planning a kind of a neat deal for the kickoff to the basketball season. It's going to be downtown Cheney if it all comes together. Yeah,
this was a great idea by our external group, and they thought, kind of in the same vein of Meet the Eagles with the football prior to the season when we did it in August after the scrimmage. We're going to try to lay down a basketball court in Cheney, and really just an easy 45-minute sort of fun and games with both the men's and women's, maybe, who knows, some sort of a 2-ball type deal, and just basically an intro to the teams itself, but then have an autograph session afterward, and just kind of a cool deal. I mean, if it all comes together and it works out, stay tuned. I think we'll have something out probably this week on that, and then we'll have a contingency as well. If for some reason we have inclement weather, we'd go back into Reese Court.
All right, so that's being scheduled right now for Thursday the 23rd. Go to the website, goeags.com, for more information. Watch your email if you're on the email list, and you'll find out all about it. Bill, anything we didn't cover that you want to cover?
No, not at all. In fact, I know, it was good to see a few folks down at Southern Utah. Paul Limp, who used to run here, is now assistant cross-country coach, and so it was fun to see him. And we had, some good Eagle support down there, and it was a good way to win. It's not an easy place to win for sure.
Nope, every win's a good win.
Yeah, that is the truth.
And that's our Athletic Directors podcast and videocast with Bill Chaves this week, brought to you by Cheney Federal Credit Union.